Ma'am, he needs oxygen now. We can't divert without authorization. He's 7, please, just look at him. The cabin lights hummed, steady and indifferent. Somewhere behind row 18, a call button chimed and went unanswered. Caleb Wright lay across his mother's lap, his small chest fluttering like paper in wind. Angela Wright pressed her palm against his ribs, counting breaths that refused to stay even. Sir? She said, lifting her eyes to the aisle. My son can't breathe. The flight attendant's smile froze, practiced and thin. We've already assessed him, ma'am. Assessed. Angela tasted the word. The air smelled recycled, metallic. Caleb's inhaler rolled against the armrest, useless without the spacer left in their checked bag. The plane shuddered through light turbulence. Seatbelts clicked. Someone coughed. No one moved. A man in a suit leaned across the aisle. She said he's asthmatic, he whispered. Can't you call a doctor? We follow protocol, the attendant replied, voice firm. Please return to your seat. Protocol. Another word that landed heavy. Angela raised her phone. Her hands shook as she aimed the camera. At Caleb's gray-tinged lips, at the red call light blinking above them. I'm recording, she said, louder than she meant. My child is asking for help. Caleb's eyes fluttered open. Mama, it's loud, he whispered. I know, baby, Angela said, brushing his curls back. Look at me. The attendant stepped closer. Ma'am, recording is not permitted. A sharp beep cut her off. The intercom crackled, then fell silent. Seconds stretched. The engines roared on, stubborn and forward-bound. Angela felt the weight of eyes now, some worried, some irritated, some carefully averted. A woman 2 rows up clasped her hands. A teenage girl held her breath. The man in the suit stood anyway. There's one thing I haven't told you yet, Angela said, voice low, steadying. My son was hospitalized last month. This is the same sound he made. The attendant hesitated. Just a flicker. Then her shoulders squared. We are not diverting, she said. Please sit down. That was the moment something shifted. Not loudly. Not yet. But a current changed direction. Angela pressed the call button again. It blinked. Caleb coughed, once sharp and hollow. The plane banked slightly, sunlight flashing through the window like a warning. Mom, Caleb whispered. Am I in trouble? Angela swallowed. No, sweetheart. You're not. But here's what most people miss. In that narrow aisle, with the engines drowning out reason, someone else was listening. Someone whose silence, until now, had meant everything. Enjoying this? Tap subscribe for tomorrow's story. The seatbelt sign stayed on. Angela noticed it because she noticed everything now, the hum of the vents, the dry sting in her eyes, the way Caleb's fingers curled into her sweater like he was holding a rope in dark water. She kept her voice calm, even as her heart raced ahead of her words. Breathe with me, baby, she said. In and out. Caleb tried. The sound that came back wasn't right. Too thin. Too fast. The man in the suit, Robert Hayes, his badge clipped neatly to his belt, pressed the call button again. Nothing. He leaned closer. Ma'am, he said to Angela. Has he used the inhaler? It's empty, Angela replied. We packed the refill in checked luggage. She hadn't planned to say that out loud. Saying it made it feel final. The flight attendant returned with another crew member, older, tighter jaw. Captain's aware, the second attendant said. We're monitoring. Monitoring. The word floated useless. Angela's phone buzzed. A text from her sister back in Cleveland. How's the flight? Angela didn't answer. She turned the camera back on, not to accuse, not yet, but to remember. Her thumb brushed the cracked corner of the case. She dropped it once, running late to the gate. There's something I haven't told you yet, she said softly, more to herself than anyone. Caleb doesn't panic. Ever. Caleb squeezed her hand. Mama, my head feels funny. The older attendant crouched, finally meeting Caleb's eyes. Sweetie, can you take a deep breath for me? He tried. failed. The attendant straightened too fast. "We can offer water," she said. Water. Angela felt a heat rise behind her eyes. She breathed it down. She'd learned that lesson years ago. Be steady, be polite, don't give them a reason. She remembered her father's voice. Document everything. "Is there a medical kit on board?" Robert asked. "Yes," the attendant said. "For crew use." "For emergencies," Robert corrected. "This does not meet diversion criteria," she said. That's when Angela heard it, the soft click of a pen behind them. Someone writing. She glanced back and caught the eyes of a woman in a navy blazer, hair pulled tight, expression unreadable. The woman didn't look away. A micro cliffhanger tightened the air. Why was she taking notes? The plane jolted. Caleb gasped. Angela didn't wait. "I'm asking formally," she said, enunciating every syllable. "For medical assistance for my child." The older attendant hesitated again. "Just long enough." Robert stood fully now. "I'm trained in first aid," he said. "Let me help." "Sir, sit down." "Not until he breathes." Passengers murmured. A ripple. A loop opening. Angela felt the eyes again, heavier now. She lifted her phone higher, not threatening, just present. "If you want the full truth," she said, voice steady, "hit like so this story reaches more people." The words surprised even her. But they anchored her. The woman in the navy blazer closed her notebook. She rose, smoothing her sleeve. When she spoke, her voice cut clean through the cabin noise. "Captain," she said, projecting toward the front, "this qualifies." Every head turned. But here's what most people miss. She didn't say who she was. Not yet. The engines roared on. The seatbelt sign stayed lit. And somewhere between rows 17 and 19, authority began to shift, quietly, irrevocably. The woman in the navy blazer didn't move closer. She didn't raise her voice again. She simply stood there, calm as a fixed star, and waited. Seconds passed. Then 10 more. The older flight attendant pressed the intercom button, fingers tight. "Captain, we have a continued situation." Angela watched Caleb's chest. Up. Down. Too fast. She counted anyway. Counting gave her something solid. "Ma'am," the younger attendant said, her tone softer now, "we need you to lower the phone." Angela didn't. She shifted her grip and focused the lens on Caleb's face. "I need you to help him," she said. "That's all." A man across the aisle whispered, "This is getting serious." Someone else said, "Poor kid." A woman reached out with a packet of tissues and stopped herself halfway, unsure. "There's one thing I haven't told you yet." Angela had flown dozens of times with Caleb. She knew the looks. The assumptions. The way concerns sometimes curdled into inconvenience. She had promised herself, after the hospital, after the beeping monitors and the long night, that she would never be quiet again. "Water won't fix asthma," Robert said. "You know that." The older attendant's jaw tightened. "Sir, please." The intercom crackled. A male voice, distant and clipped. "Cabin confirms symptoms." 7-year-old male. The older attendant replied. "History of asthma. Shortness of breath." A pause. Too long. Angela felt Caleb's fingers slacken for a second. Her breath caught. She leaned closer. "Stay with me, baby," she whispered. "Look at my eyes." Caleb nodded barely. The woman in the navy blazer stepped into the aisle. Not hurried. Not dramatic. "Captain," she said again, louder now. "Delay increases risk." The captain's voice returned, sharper. "Ma'am, identify yourself." A beat. The cabin leaned forward as one. "I will," the woman said. "After you authorize oxygen." Another pause. The engine seemed louder, impatient. The seatbelt sign remained on. Finally. "Cabin, administer on-board oxygen. Prepare medical kit." The younger attendant exhaled, audible. She moved quickly now, almost running. The older attendant retrieved a red case from an overhead compartment. The hiss of oxygen filled the row like a promise. Angela pressed the mask gently to Caleb's face. "Breathe," she said. "Slow." His shoulders eased, just a fraction. "Enough." The woman in the blazer watched closely, eyes flicking between Caleb and the crew. She nodded once, satisfied. Then she stepped back, returning to her seat as if nothing had happened. But something had. Angela's phone buzzed again. This time, notifications stacked. Messages from friends who'd seen the live clip she hadn't realized was streaming. A cousin. A coworker. "Is this real? Are you okay?" A loop closed, and another opened. The older attendant cleared her throat. "We will continue to monitor," she said, careful now. "Captain will reassess." Angela didn't respond. She focused on Caleb's breathing, steadier now, the mask fogging with each exhale. Relief washed through her, warm and shaky. But here's what most people miss: oxygen was only the beginning. The question hanging in the air wasn't whether Caleb would be okay. It was why help came only after pressure, and who, exactly, had applied it. Angela glanced back. The woman in the blazer met her eyes and offered a small, reassuring nod. No smile. No explanation. If you believe Angela deserved justice, comment the word justice below. The plane continued east, unchanged on the map. Inside the cabin, though, a new course had been set, and no one yet knew where it would land. The oxygen hissed steadily now, a thin white noise that softened the cabin's edge. Caleb's breathing slowed enough for Angela to unclench her jaw. She kept the mask in place, counting silently, refusing to look up. The seatbelt sign finally clicked off. A ripple of movement followed, people shifting, stretching, whispering. Relief mixed with curiosity. Eyes slid, then fixed again, on row 18. Robert Hayes leaned down. "He's stabilizing," he said quietly. "You did right." Angela nodded, still counting. She didn't trust her voice yet. From the front, the older attendant returned with a tablet tucked against her chest. Her tone had changed, less rigid, more careful. "Captain requests updates every 5 minutes," she said. "We'll remain prepared to divert." Prepared. Not diverted. Not yet. "There's one thing I haven't told you yet," Angela thought, as she glanced at the aisle. "Prepared doesn't mean protected." A woman 2 rows back cleared her throat. "My sister's a nurse," she offered. "She can help." The older attendant hesitated, then nodded. Briefly. The nurse checked Caleb's pulse, spoke softly, precise. "Oxygen's helping," she said. "But he'll need a nebulizer soon." The older attendant stiffened. "We don't have one." The nurse met her gaze. "Then time matters." The woman in the navy blazer stood again. Not abruptly. Intentionally. She stepped forward, stopping just short of the crew's space. "Captain," she said, projecting toward the cockpit door. "Document this." A pause. "Document that oxygen was initially withheld," she continued. "Document the delay. And document the witnesses." The older attendant's eyes flicked to the tablet. "Ma'am, please. Please," the woman replied evenly. "Do your job." Silence fell. The kind that exposes power. The captain's voice came back, measured. "Cabin, identify the requesting party." The woman didn't hesitate this time. "I will," she said. "But first, confirm diversion parameters." Another pause. Then, "Stand by." Angela felt the cabin lean in again. Phones came up, not aggressively, but instinctively. The moment had weight now. A public edge. The nurse stepped back. "He's holding," she told Angela. "But don't let them wait." Angela finally looked up. She met the woman's eyes, searching for a clue, a badge, anything. The woman offered none. Just calm. But here's what most people miss: authority doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it tests the room first. The captain's voice returned. "Cabin, prepare for possible diversion to St. Louis." A gasp. A murmur. A few sharp exhales. The older attendant nodded briskly and turned away to prepare. The younger attendant whispered, "Thank you," as she passed the woman in the blazer. The woman sat down again, opening her notebook once more. She wrote 3 lines. Closed it. Angela's phone vibrated, one notification only. A message from an unknown number. "I'm here. Don't worry." Angela's heart skipped. She looked around. No one met her eyes, except the woman in navy, who was already looking away. "Type yes if you want to see all targets hit at once." The plane banked slightly. The oxygen hiss continued. And somewhere between the cockpit door and row 18, a record was being created, one that would not stay in the air. The announcement didn't come right away. Minutes stretched while the plane leveled, engines easing into a steadier pitch. The oxygen tank was secured now, the red case wedged between seats like a quiet sentinel. Caleb's eyelids fluttered, then stayed open. He squeezed Angela's hand once, weak but real. "Mom," he whispered. "It's quieter." Angela smiled through the ache in her throat. "That's the medicine working." Across the aisle, Robert exhaled. "Good sign," he said. The older attendant returned, tablet held tighter than before. "Captain is reviewing fuel and weather," she said. "Diversion decision pending." Pending. Again. "There's one thing I haven't told you yet." Angela knew what pending meant in rooms like this. It meant delay wrapped in language. It meant hoping the problem solved itself. The woman in the navy blazer stood a third time. This time, she didn't address the cockpit. She addressed the cabin. "For anyone recording," she said calmly, "please keep your footage. Do not edit." Heads lifted. Phones steadied. A low murmur passed through the rows. The older attendant stiffened. "Ma'am, you're causing transparency," the woman replied. "Which protects everyone." She turned, finally facing Angela fully. "Your son's name is Caleb," she said, not a question. Angela nodded, surprised. "He needs a nebulizer within 30 minutes," the woman continued. "If not, diversion becomes mandatory." "How do you know that?" Robert asked. The woman held his gaze. "Because policy says so." Policy. The word landed differently now. The captain's voice cut in firmer. "Cabin, we are diverting to St. Louis. Landing in 12 minutes. A wave moved through the plane. Relief, frustration, whispered calculations. Seatbelts clicked back on. The younger attendant wiped her eyes and nodded to Angela. "We're almost there." Angela bowed her head, breathing for the first time in what felt like hours. But here's what most people miss. The decision didn't come from compassion alone. It came from documentation, and the people who knew how to demand it. As the plane descended, the woman in navy leaned toward Angela. Her voice was low, private. "When we land, ask for the incident report number," she said. "Don't leave without it." "Who are you?" Angela asked. The woman smiled, just barely. "Someone who reads footnotes." The wheels hit the runway with a hard, grounding thud. Applause broke out, then stopped, uncertain. The oxygen hiss slowed, then ceased. Caleb looked up. "Did we win, Mom?" Angela kissed his forehead. "We got help," she said. "That's what matters. For now." Share this video so communities understand what was hiding. As the plane taxied, sirens wailed faintly beyond the windows. Paramedics waited near the gate. And the woman in the navy blazer closed her notebook one last time, because the next part wouldn't be written in the air. The cabin doors opened to a rush of cool air and flashing red lights. 2 paramedics boarded first, brisk and focused. 7-year-old male, the older attendant said quickly. "Asthma exacerbation." They knelt beside Caleb, moving with practiced calm. A nebulizer mask replaced the oxygen. The software filled the space, deeper and steadier than before. Caleb's shoulders loosened almost immediately. Angela felt her knees weaken. She sat back, hands trembling now that she didn't have to hold everything together. "Mom," Caleb said, clearer this time. "It tastes funny." That's okay. One paramedic smiled. That means it's working. Passengers began to stand, craning for a look. Phones dipped, then rose again. The plane felt different, no longer sealed, no longer controlled by a single voice. The captain finally emerged from the cockpit. He was tall, gray at the temples, his uniform crisp. He surveyed the scene, eyes lingering on the medical kit, the red oxygen case, the knot of witnesses. "Ma'am," he said to Angela, measured, "I'm glad your son is stable." Angela nodded, too tired to speak. The captain turned to the older attendant. "Incident report?" "Being finalized," she replied quickly, tablet in hand. "Good," he said. Then his gaze shifted to the woman in the navy blazer. "Ma'am," the captain said, careful now, "you requested identification." The woman stood. This time, the aisle seemed to widen for her. She reached into her bag and produced a slim leather folder. She opened it once, angled so the captain, and only the captain, could see. No flourish. No announcement. The captain's face changed. Not dramatically. Subtly. His shoulders squared. His jaw tightened. "Yes," he said immediately. "Of course." Angela watched, confused. Robert leaned closer, whispering, "What was that?" "There's one thing I haven't told you yet," Angela thought, heart beginning to pound again. "This isn't over." The woman closed the folder and addressed the cabin, voice calm and clear. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Medical services will take over now." She turned to Angela. "I'll walk with you," she said. Not a request. As they stepped into the jet bridge, the woman finally spoke quietly. "My name is Evelyn Parker," she said. "I oversee compliance audits." "Compliance for who?" Angela asked. Evelyn met her eyes. "For this airline." The words landed like a controlled detonation. Behind them, the captain barked orders, quiet, urgent. Crew members avoided Evelyn's gaze. The older attendant's tablet trembled slightly in her hands. Caleb was wheeled ahead, breathing easier, eyes open and curious. Angela felt anger rise, clean, focused. "You were on the plane the whole time," she said. "You heard them say no." "Yes," Evelyn replied. "And now I've seen how they say it." They reached the terminal doors. Hospital staff waited beyond. "But here's what most people miss," Evelyn added, lowering her voice. "What happens next depends on what's documented, and who stays to see it through." Angela looked back once more at the aircraft. It sat quiet now, harmless looking. Just another plane. But control had already slipped. The ambulance doors closed with a final, metallic click. Angela sat beside Caleb, one hand resting on his knee as the vehicle lurched forward. The siren stayed off, no longer necessary, but the urgency hadn't faded. Not for her. Not for Evelyn, who sat across from them, posture straight, eyes alert. "You didn't stop them at first," Angela said finally. The words were steady, but the question beneath them wasn't. "Why?" Evelyn didn't answer right away. She waited until the paramedic finished adjusting the nebulizer and stepped away. "Because intervention changes behavior," she said quietly. "Observation reveals it." Angela absorbed that. It didn't soften the memory of waiting. But it sharpened something else. "There's one thing I haven't told you yet," Evelyn continued. "This wasn't a random flight for me." The ambulance slowed at a light. Red reflected off the ceiling. "I was reviewing emergency response compliance," Evelyn said. "Unannounced. In real conditions." Angela's grip tightened. "So, this was a test?" "No," Evelyn said immediately. "Caleb was never a test. The system was." Silence filled the space between them. Heavy. Necessary. At the hospital, Caleb was taken back quickly. Angela followed, heart pounding again as doors swung closed and monitors began their quiet chorus. She sat alone for 10 minutes that felt like an hour. Evelyn returned with a paper cup of water. "He's responding well," she said. "They'll keep him overnight." Angela nodded, swallowing hard. Relief came in waves now, unpredictable, overwhelming. What happens to them? Angela asked. The crew. The captain? Evelyn Saturday. That depends on what the record shows. She opened her folder again, this time for Angela. Inside were printed policies, highlighted lines, timestamps handwritten in the margins. Times when oxygen should have been administered. Times when escalation was required. You see this? Evelyn tapped a line. They exceeded the delay threshold. Angela stared at the page. Proof. Solid and undeniable. But here's what most people miss, Evelyn said. Policy only matters if someone insists it be read. Angela thought of her phone. The video. The messages piling up. I stayed, Evelyn continued, because too often these incidents end in apologies. Not accountability. Angela looked up. And now? Evelyn closed the folder. Now the airline loses control of the narrative. The next morning, Angela woke to a flood. Missed calls. Emails. A voicemail marked urgent. Her sister sat beside the hospital bed, eyes wide. You're everywhere, she said. Clips had spread overnight, careful, unedited, exactly as Evelyn instructed. Not outraged bait. Just sequence. Delay. Response. One headline stood out on Angela's screen: Internal auditor present during in-flight medical denial. Angela exhaled slowly. Caleb stirred. Mom, he said, sleepy but strong. Are we still flying? Angela smiled, brushing his hair back. Not today. But the story was already airborne. By noon, the airline issued a statement. It was careful. Polished. Full of words like concern and review. Angela read it once, then set the phone down. She had learned how language could soften hard edges without changing the shape underneath. Evelyn read it too. She didn't comment. They sat in the hospital's small family lounge, Angela with a coffee she hadn't touched, Evelyn with a legal pad already half full. Through the glass, Caleb slept, a thin tube delivering misted medicine, his breathing steady at last. There's one thing I haven't told you yet, Evelyn said, not looking up. The report doesn't stop at the crew. Angela turned. What do you mean? Training, Evelyn replied. Metrics. Incentives. She underlined a sentence on the pad. If crews are rewarded for on-time arrivals without balanced medical authority, delays happen. Angela pictured the seatbelt sign. The waiting. Pending. So what happens now? Angela asked. Evelyn capped her pen. Now I file. The filing happened fast. Faster than Angela expected. Internal review requests. Crew interviews. A preservation order on all cockpit audio and cabin logs. The incident report number, written on Angela's discharge papers like a quiet anchor, was referenced again and again. By evening, the captain was placed on administrative leave. The older attendant reassigned. The younger attendant, commended for escalation attempts noted late in the timeline. Angela learned this not from the airline, but from a reporter who called her phone and left a respectful voicemail. She didn't call back. The story shifted tone online. Less heat. More clarity. People noticed the timestamps. The calm insistence. The absence of theatrics. A single comment kept repeating under the clips: why did it take pressure? But here's what most people miss: accountability rarely arrives all at once. It comes in increments. 3 days later, Evelyn returned to the hospital with an update. The airline will revise its in-flight medical escalation policy, she said. Immediate oxygen authorization for pediatric respiratory distress. Mandatory diversion review within 10 minutes. Angela closed her eyes. 10 minutes would have changed everything. And the crew? Angela asked. Consequences will be individualized, Evelyn said. But systemic corrections are already drafted. Angela looked through the glass at Caleb, now awake, drawing with a crayon a nurse had given him. He looked up and waved. Relief mixed with something sharper. Purpose. Angela's phone buzzed once more. A message from an unknown number. Thank you for not looking away. Angela typed back a single word, always. Outside, evening settled over the city. The hospital lights flickered on, steady and reliable. Inside, a record had been made, and it wasn't going to disappear into a drawer. Caleb was discharged on a Thursday morning. The nurse reviewed instructions slowly, making sure Angela heard each step. New prescriptions. A replacement inhaler to stay and carry on luggage. A printed action plan folded twice and tucked into Angela's bag. Any questions? The nurse asked. Angela shook her head. For once, she didn't have any. Outside the hospital, sunlight warmed the sidewalk. Caleb squinted, then grinned. Can we get pancakes? Angela laughed, soft, surprised by how normal the sound felt. Yes, she said. We can. They walked to a small diner across the street. Vinyl booths. Coffee clink. A bell over the door. Caleb slid into the seat and immediately began telling the waitress about the ambulance like it was an adventure, not a scare. Angela listened, grateful for the distance time was already putting between fear and memory. Her phone buzzed, not loud, not urgent. A single email from Evelyn. Draft policy revisions attached. Public release pending. Also, your documentation helped. Angela read the attachment later, after pancakes. She read it twice. Clear language. Firm timelines. No room for pending. There's one thing I haven't told you yet. Angela didn't feel victorious. She felt settled. Like a weight had been put down carefully instead of dropped. The airline reached out formally the next week. A letter. No brand name shouted. No excuses. An acknowledgement of delay. An offer to meet. Angela agreed, on one condition. The meeting would include a medical advocate and a community representative. Not for show. For balance. They met in a quiet conference room at a regional office. Neutral walls. Water pitchers untouched. The new head of in-flight operations spoke plainly. We failed your son, he said. And we failed our crew by not giving them clear authority. Angela listened. She asked for specifics. She asked for dates. She asked how changes would be measured. Each answer closed a loop she didn't know she'd been holding open. Caleb colored at the end of the table, humming. At the end, Angela stood. I don't want an apology, she said. I want consistency. You'll have it, the executive replied. And a follow-up audit. Angela glanced at Evelyn, who had joined by video. Evelyn nodded once. Walking out, Angela felt something loosen in her chest. Not erased. Integrated. That evening, she packed a small bag. In the front pocket, she placed Caleb's inhaler. In the side sleeve, the action plan. She paused, then added one more thing. The incident report number, written neatly on an index card. Not as a threat. As a reminder. Caleb watched from the doorway. Are we flying again? He asked. Soon, Angela said. And we'll be ready. She turned off the light. The house settled. And for the first time since the flight, sleep came without negotiation. 3 months later, the airport felt different. Not quieter. Not kinder. Just clearer. Angela stood at the gate with Caleb beside her, his backpack snug against his shoulders. A laminated card peeked from the front pocket, his asthma action plan, folded once, edges worn from use. The inhaler rested where she could reach it without thinking. A soft chime sounded overhead. Boarding would begin soon. Caleb tugged her sleeve. Mom, he said, pointing. That sign is new. She followed his finger. Near the podium, a small placard had been added, plain language, bold letters. Medical needs take priority. Oxygen authorized immediately for respiratory distress. Angela felt the quiet click inside her chest, the kind that comes when a loop finally closes. They took their seats mid-cabin. The hum of the vents returned, familiar now, less menacing. A flight attendant passed, smiling. She paused, glanced at Caleb's card, and nodded. If you need anything, she said, just let me know. Not protocol. Presence. As the plane pushed back, Angela watched Caleb look out the window, eyes bright, unafraid. The engines roared. The cabin lights dimmed. Life moved on. But here's what most people miss. Change doesn't announce itself with speeches. It arrives as small permissions, granted earlier, granted clearly. Angela's phone buzzed once. An email from Evelyn. Audit completed. Compliance up. Thank you for staying. Angela typed back a single line. Thank you for reading the footnotes. The seatbelt sign flicked off. Caleb leaned over. Mom, he whispered, conspiratorial. Can we get pancakes when we land? Angela smiled. Absolutely. Across the aisle, a man closed his laptop. A woman adjusted her scarf. The plane leveled out, steady and sure. And somewhere in a policy manual, revised, dated, signed, Caleb's moment had become a line that would help the next child breathe sooner. If this shocked you, comment the word heard below. Before the descent, Angela checked the front pocket one last time. Inhaler. Card. Ready. Final thought. If this story stayed with you, like this video so it reaches someone who needs it. Comment one word, heard, so others know they're not alone. And subscribe to True Heart Story for stories that turn dignity into change. Yendi, thanks for watching.